Welcome, everybody. Welcome back. It is episode 7 of
Look at these
Chop
crazy
on the
people.
Top. What?
Look at these crazy people on this camera.
I know, right?
God,
Who,
it's so
who, who
sexy. I
lets
mean,
us? Who,
honestly
who
sexy.
lets? Who lets these people on the camera? I know. Who gives us technology? But we are so glad you're back. We had a. How would you describe this past week?
Wild,
Wild,
exciting.
wild, and for us, just actually kind of miserable. Miserable.
Don't be miserable.
For the first time in the history of the show,
Oh,
we both lost this weekend.
very true. One unexpectedly and one not unexpectedly.
Yeah, I mean, you guys can figure out who's who.
Yeah.
We got to start
Go ahead and start with your team first.
with our trap game in Fayetteville, not in Arkansas. I knew this past week was a trap game. It had trap game written all over it. Going down to Arkansas is always a tough place to play.
You know how you get them feelings in your bones, like when something happens, you expect something else maybe to happen. We get that other game that happened this weekend gave me an inclination. I was feeling that y'all's game was going to be tight. Go ahead.
I just knew all week our game was going to be tight. It wasn't even going into that game. I just knew, those games that, you're looking ahead to another game. You're not taking that game very seriously. And it showed. It really, really, really
Yeah,
showed.
yeah.
I mean, I was just, and the offense just looked non existent. The offense looked just flat. I mean, we scored 0 points in the first half. I mean, the offense only did things in the third quarter, and just the
Yeah.
whole game just it was like, you're waiting for something to happen. You're waiting, and just nothing happened. I mean, that was Iamaliava's worst game as a starter.
Yeah, I would say so.
Um, I mean, there was a good game for Dylan Singhamson on 140 yards and 100 on 122
Yeah.
carries and 2 touchdowns on the ground. But I know our offense can play so
Yeah.
much better.
Y'all
And
can.
the play calling was very frustrating at times, especially on that last play where we went out of
Oh
bounds.
man, that's just freshman. That's a freshman mistake.
That's just a freshman mistake. And
You
it
gotta
was
live to
just
those.
all over, just a weird, weird game. It was just,
It's the SEC.
it's an SEC game.
That's
And
amazing.
Arkansas is a hostile environment. But I gotta say, the Tennessee fan base is overreacting. Is absolutely overreacting. And yes, it was a bad loss, but it's hopefully a
You
wake
looking
up.
at your stats. There ain't nothing on here that jumps out that y'all played. I don't know. And no turnovers. The defense gave a lot of yards, but it's not like they gave a lot of points. It's just the SEC. That's all I can say. Like, you never know. I've always said that my whole time I've been watching college football. The SEC is crazy,
The SEC is just a different
especially when you go on
animal.
the road.
Yeah, especially in the different animals.
Yeah,
It's a different
gotta
animal
respect
compared
it.
to the ACC, the Big Ten, what was the Pac-12, the Big 12. I mean, it's just a different
Different
animal here in the
place. Yeah,
Southeast.
that's right.
But
Southeast.
my question is to the Tennessee team,
He just said screw y'all for the rest of the country.
pretty much, yeah. I mean, no, not really. But
Well, the Big Ten.
how do we respond?
We'll see.
How do we respond? How do we recap this game? How do we, get back on the right track?
We'll see that. We'll talk about that in very,
I mean, this
very
team.
soon tonight.
I mean, this team is capable of better. We are a better team than when we played.
Yeah.
Everybody has a bad game. That goes without saying. Everybody has a bad game. But it's how do we respond? I think there are worse things that could have happened that night, last couple of nights ago. But I'm truly not fully concerned yet.
Don't
I think
be.
it's just would you just chalk it up to a bad night?
Yeah, you're still in the playoffs.
We're still in the playoff
That's
picture.
all that matters.
We'll get it together down the road. I think We have a couple big games at home coming up, and we will get it together. I think the only other thing that frustrated me, this was after a bye week. This was after a bye. We
Yeah.
had 2 weeks of prep for this game, and it looked like we didn't do anything to prep.
Well, don't blame it on the coach. Y'all got a great coach.
They're definitely. I mean, I
I
see where
think
you're coming from.
one loss, don't get overexcited about it.
You would know.
Well, it's its period now. I mean, if you're a great team, one loss should not affect you, and y'all
Absolutely.
still a playoff team. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
So as a decent, good
They're not.
team.
No, they're not bad. They have great coaching now.
They're not a bad team, but they're
No,
not like a.
they're not a bottom dweller.
No, they're not a bottom dweller, but they're not fighting for an SEC title
No,
either. So.
no. Well, see, my team, we're gonna make this short and sweet, okay? Because I don't. There's no point in talking about Florida State much in this thing anymore. Even though I like Florida State, my favorite team, the issue with Florida State is not the defense.
You got disrespected by ESPN.
I don't give a damn about it. When they put that guy, I know we're getting ahead of the rant here about Florida State, but when they put the guy in the stands again this time, that's a plant by ESPN. They had him ready the whole game.
The butt guy?
Yeah, they had him ready the whole game to be up there. You can't tell me ESPN didn't do that. Try to convince me they didn't.
I didn't. I only saw it on Facebook or Instagram.
Right. So you're agreeing with me that you feel like it's a plant.
Maybe.
Anyway.
I don't know.
Well, maybe my ass is the plant. I mean, PG show, guys. PG show.
Florida State fan.
Okay. So the breakdown of the game. Now that William has got me fired up again, which don't take much.
No, it doesn't.
So you got to catch the ball.
Yeah.
I'm done with saying the defense is good or bad. I think the defense is what the offense is making it. Even though they scored 42 points against SMU, the offense, what did the offense do? Nothing.
Not much.
Okay. Well, this time we actually have a quarterback. Brock Glenn is the quarterback for Florida State going forward. And he may be the future of the Florida State quarterback position because he looked great yesterday or Saturday.
Yeah, he looked great. He looked serviceable.
Yeah, the one pass he threw, the interception, he threw right to the Clemson player. I'm going to overlook that as his first quarter of play in the game, and you have to feel your way out of that stuff anyways. So the rest of the game, every other thing is great. He did great. When you don't get a running game, you can't run the football. That puts a lot more pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah.
So in order for him to do what he did anyways without the running game was excellent.
Yes.
And how many drop passes did we have Saturday? I can't even count them. We had one. We had Douglas dropped the ball. We had two deep balls. Two deep balls that would turn into probably good big time games. Actually, three. Benson dropped one. So, I mean, it's just unbelievable how, and it's all the veterans dropping balls. It's not the freshmen. That's even worse. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't understand what they're doing in practice. Yeah, that's fun. Get wild here on the podcast tonight. But it's going to be an interesting one. We're not done with all the fired up stuff yet. But the main point is if the Florida State Seminoles offense would play better, the team would play better. I think the quarterback is answered. The question at quarterback is answered. Now he cannot make the receivers play better.
No.
They have to do that on their own.
Yeah, no.
It's like, what are you doing in practice? There is a jug. I hope they have jug with the ball jug. They need to be on that thing consistently.
Yeah.
Because you got to catch the ball.
Oh yeah. I mean, you got to catch the ball. You're not doing your defense any favors. You're just going for 3 and out.
Yeah.
But you got to play better.
And the other thing is the snapping. 3 snaps released that went over Brock's head.
Oh yeah.
And how long to the coach says you got to come out of the game? Why does it not happen the first time? To me, when you eventually if we are 5-1 and we end up snapping the ball over Brock's head, it's a different story.
Well,
when it's 1-5, there is nobody. When you make a mistake, you're on the bench. We're going to find somebody who can snap the damn football.
Yes.
So Bobby Bowden, man, he yanked that kid. He wouldn't even play much more. Probably never would have played again this year with Bobby Bowden, head coach.
Well, I don't think you'd be in that position with Bobby Bowden anyway.
So we actually were, if you remember at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we fell off a little bit. Other than that, we got a bye week this week, so we'll talk about his game coming up later. But we got a bye week this week, so I'm not too. And then we're going live. You want to go ahead and mention that?
Yeah, so the Friday night, the 18th,
Right.
we will be in Durham, North Carolina.
Woo!
For the Duke Florida State game. What color will I be wearing? I don't know.
You want to wear Duke that? Well, you got a big night now. You got to wear Tennessee. You got to wear Tennessee. Y'all play Alabama.
I gotta keep the guesses. Keep them guessing.
Okay.
Keep them guessing, people.
Next week we'll have the restaurant we're going to come by. We're going to go live that afternoon before we go to the field or the stadium. At the, I don't know what it's called. There's a restaurant behind the Durham Park baseball park. We got to figure out the name of it.
We'll figure all that out.
I really want to go live from there. Not for a show. We're doing our show Monday.
Yes.
But we're going to go special.
Special.
Yes.
Special.
I think it needs to happen for the podcast.
A chop on the top special from Durham.
Right. That's our first road show.
Our first big road show. We're excited.
Yep, I'm pretty. Well, I'm excited. I don't care what the record is. I'm gonna go make somebody mad. I'm gonna go spit on Cameron Indoor Stadium's wall. But anyway, that's another day, another time.
So yeah. So do you want to preview next week's our games?
I don't have a game.
Oh, this just in. Y'all are a 21-point underdog to the bye week.
That's pretty good, dog.
You might want to be. You might lose to the bye week. Well, you're on your bye week.
Dun 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 dun. Go Gators! I can't believe I did that.
For shame. Yes, it is my favorite week of the year.
You very blue. The mom has spoken. You'll never hear my mom on this thing. So I'm good, probably. Good thing she didn't hear me discuss.
Thanks, Mom. But no, it is my favorite week of the year. It is Gator Hater Week. We play Florida.
You've been fired up for that the whole day because we ain't even talking about none of the rest of the game. You're going into next week.
I am excited. We will get there. We will get there. But we play the Gators in Knoxville. It revenge. Is a rivalry. We are seeking revenge, but we're also seeking our second straight game win in Neyland after we won in 22. Yeah.
What do you want?
We'll look at that later. But yes, no, that game to me is one.
What do you mean, Doug? What do you mean?
We will figure all that out. But no, Gator Week is always a big one. Big one. I mean, we got, this is the rivalry that, we always get hyped for. Yeah. Whether it's in Neyland, whether it's in Gainesville.
Yep. That's one thing we have in common.
It is, mutual hatred for Florida.
Yeah.
But this is also one of those rivalries that no matter what the records are coming in, no matter how both teams have played this year, it doesn't matter. You toss out the rule book.
Which is something is scary that Florida is playing better.
Yes. And especially after not being well, after we played poorly last week. I'm a little worried. ESPN has us at a 15.5-point favorite. I'm not sure after last week. It depends on, again, like I said, it's about how do you respond from a loss.
15.5-point spread.
But again, it doesn't matter. These games, you throw out the rule book. You throw out the rule book, you see what happens going.
You throw out the rule book. Y'all gonna do something bad?
No, I mean, what I mean by that, rules don't apply with this game because, anything can happen.
You wrote the NFL, the college football rule book. Screw you, Williams says.
Basically, anything can happen.
Anything goes. Knockdown, drag out.
It will be a knockdown because these games always are.
Right.
We could have the best team in the years
Yeah.
and still somehow find a way to mess it up against Florida. Florida could have their best team in years. They could come up to Knoxville and get just pasted.
The predictor, ESPN predictor, has y'all at 86%
Exactly. It doesn't matter. Numbers here do not matter going in. Do I think we will win? Absolutely.
Absolutely. I agree with
My
you.
score, I'm going to go pretty high. I'm going to go 45 to 21.
That's your score?
Yep.
After y'all only scored 19
Oh,
last Saturday night.
we are more of a capable offense than that,
Okay.
but we've
All right.
got to come out firing early. We've got to shoot on all cylinders from the word go,
Okay.
from the kickoff. If we don't do that, we will be in trouble.
You'll be in trouble. And then, so I guess I'll say, I think Tennessee's going to win too. I'm not going to go the 30. I'm not going to go the 45-point range. I'll say 35-21, Tennessee.
That is a fair.
They're in the doghouse right now with me. They got to pull those themselves back out. But to mention another team that's in the doghouse, team down in Tuscaloosa. I believe that fan base right now is riding. There's a lot. There's a lot to dig on this game. There's a lot to touch in this game. I mean, Vanderbilt. It's like Florida State when they first lost to like Wake Forest the first time. You know, nobody ever would have dreamed that before it happened. But now that it's happened, it's unbelievable.
How is the bigger question.
Okay. The answer is Nick Saban's not the head coach of Alabama anymore. That's how.
That should not matter.
It does.
You're right. It shouldn't.
Because Nick Saban was such a great coach. It's like Bobby Bowden. It's like Bill Belichick and for the Patriots. They're not letting you. Even if you whoever you beat last week does not matter next week. Practice on Monday. I bet they go through some kind of fundamental.
Oh yeah.
Even if they win by 40, they're going to do fundamentals on practice the next Monday. They're not going to start off with "good job, guys." You're up here, you're up here, you're up here. Whereas I think DeBoer, as what his press conference was on whenever he did his press conference Saturday night, talking about certain things in the game, which I'm gonna get to in a second. You can tell he does not have the same mind that Nick Saban does. Yes. But who does?
Nobody.
There's a couple coaches in history that have. Bear Bryant, Bobby Bowden, Joe Paterno, and they great people. But anyway, that's another thing for another day. He still was a great coach on the football field. Right? Okay. And then Nick Saban and a few others. Just that tough-minded, hard-nosed coach that understands how to win football games.
Absolutely.
And then I know the boy won at Washington. I know he's won on other places in his life, and he's only lost so many games. Well, guess what? This is a different era. He's in Alabama now. Wait.
Yeah, I'm so busy laughing right now.
Right.
That was hilarious. Being a Tennessee, and maybe I jumped the gun a little bit, making fun of Alabama fans. And everybody, and all the Alabama fans clapping back and he saying, y'all lost too.
Did you put a link on there?
For what?
The YouTube the podcast.
We'll do that at the end.
Make sure they know we're here.
Yes. But I also think it is way more socially acceptable lose at Arkansas than to lose at Vanderbilt.
Yeah. And then the other part of this game was when Malachi Moore, the captain of the team, went on a little bit of a tirade during the game.
Oh yeah.
And he did not come out when the coach wanted him to sub in and sub out. Would not come off the field. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, that's another hint of what's going on in Tuscaloosa.
Oh yeah.
Where that would not have happened last year or any other year when Nick Saban was coaching. You didn't see that nowhere near.
No.
And the fact that he's a captain is almost as bad as any other part of that thing. They should take his captain away from him. Would you agree?
I definitely consider it.
I think it should because you're showing, the rest of the team, you're supposed to be the leader. And then kicking the ball from when they put the ball down for the next play, kick the ball. To me, if I'm the SEC, I got to step in there Because you got three referees standing there. What if you hurt one of the referees doing that?
Fair enough.
Okay, you put people in jeopardy. So it's at least one game suspension. I think we let these kids do too much. It's free reign. They get paid now, so they think there's something. You got to make an example out of this kid. You can't let that be a say. That's the best player in the SEC on defense, quote unquote, whatever. And he just kicked the ball. No punishment. Okay, well, guess what? When I want to go on tirade, I'm gonna kick the ball.
Yeah.
But,
And maybe you're just speaking from the mindset of a referee yourself, but
well, I definitely am on that one. But I see what happens in high school,
oh yeah, no, I mean,
and I got to deal with that personally.
this is definitely a shocking game. I definitely was blown away. But let's get to other games because there was more action this
Yeah,
week.
but that was a fun day. That was crazy.
Oof, there was another big upset. Texas A&M at home took down Missouri.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
Well, I did pick that one because I like Elko.
But you didn't expect to be that
No, not
much.
at all. Not at all.
I mean, they just came out and flattened Missouri.
So A&M now, they're pretty much have a shot at Atlanta.
Yeah, they're 5-1.
I believe now. I really believe now. That was impressive.
I was definitely blown away. I was like, I remember I turned the game on and I was like, oopsies.
Yeah. Then
That was not good. But that was definitely a shocker.
what
Like,
about Miami and California? That was game day. Game day was
yeah,
there.
game day was there. That was I heard it was a wild one. I didn't stay up very late.
I tried, but
I
I think
mean,
they were ahead. California was up 34-10, I think it
something like
was.
that. Yeah.
And they ended up losing 39-38 to Miami.
Yes.
Do I think that means Miami? I don't know. I don't think they're going to make it undefeated in the regular season.
No,
They're
no.
going to need to. I mean, Clemson and Miami are so far. It feels like on a collision course. There's a couple other teams in the ACC
That could make some
and
noise
make
too.
some
Yeah.
noise.
Absolutely. I think, you know, between struggling last week and struggling this week, but they are a resilient bunch. They are definitely a resilient bunch.
Right now,
They do have a bye week this week,
Miami
Miami
does.
does. And then they play at Louisville, and then host you guys
Oof.
in 3 weeks.
Can we
So,
just cancel that game and go to the next one?
no.
Okay.
I mean, they have beaten
He
some.
said no.
They have beaten some.
Maybe I want to cancel it.
They've beaten some really bad teams so far this year. I mean, they've played
Yeah.
Florida. They
Right.
played Florida in Gainesville. They played Florida A&M, Ball State, and at South Florida. They won all those games handily. But these last two games against Virginia Tech, where they had to win on an
Ooh.
overturned call,
I didn't see the ending of this game. I don't know how they won this game.
the Virginia Tech
No,
one.
California. I have no idea.
I'm not sure
That's
either,
not
but
worry. Not too big a deal. But
last second touchdown by Campbell.
again?
Yeah,
Okay.
a
They're
last
getting out there
second
by the
touchdown.
scare the guinea chin chin.
Yeah, and I think you play with fire enough,
He'll get burnt.
you're gonna get burned.
But who's gonna burn them? In the ACC.
At this point, I'm not fully sure who would burn them at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, their schedule is very favorable.
Yeah, they should win every game they play the rest of the year.
I think the only place I see them slipping up is either at Louisville or at Syracuse.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I could see them potentially losing to Duke.
Not at home.
Not at home.
Yeah.
Maybe
It's at home on
y'all,
the road.
maybe y'all can go up and bite
Not
them in the
big.
butt.
Not big.
Oh,
All right. So
and
other
then,
games this week, there wasn't that many big games,
but there was some action this week.
Upsets.
Georgia took care of Auburn. Ohio State took care of Iowa.
None of that was a surprise.
Oregon took care of Michigan State, which I was kind of surprised about.
Well, the way they did it, they're getting back on
Oh my
top now.
God, Drake. Indiana is 6-0.
That's pretty good.
Where did that come
Yeah,
from?
yeah, that's impressive.
We have actually, Indiana's undefeated. We have not. This is the first time I think we've brought them up
Well,
on the show.
we might need to bring them up.
Or we may need to be quiet so we
Don't
don't
jinx them.
say that. But yes, they took care of Northwestern to go to 6-0. I think the first time in school history.
I think it is. And the Indiana coach said, Google me after on the press conference. I'm like, really? Come on, just simmer down now. It's
but
happening. You still got 6 more games to go.
but they have two. Their November is brutal.
Ooh, yeah, I looked at that the other day. Well, they still got to play Nebraska next week
They got
or
to
the
play
2 weeks. Got to
Nebraska,
buy.
Washington, Michigan State, Michigan.
That's a rough one. They're not going undefeated.
They're not. They're losing at Ohio State.
They're losing. They might lose at Washington. They might lose Ohio State, Michigan, and they could go to Michigan State and lose.
I
You
think
know,
they could lose at least 4 games in this
yeah,
next round.
they
But they played so well so far.
let's give them have their let's let them have their finals right now.
Let's let those Hoosiers have their fun. We're not gonna
Yeah,
knock them down. They've been good. Another upset this week. SMU took down Louisville.
that's not a big upset.
Not the biggest upset, but
Maybe SMU can play.
yeah, maybe SMU.
Yeah, we got a good team out of that little change. And then California really hasn't played bad. Two of the three new teams.
Yeah.
California's only lost 2 games by 4 points.
Yeah, and then there's another big upset on Friday night.
Friday night.
Syracuse took down UNLV.
Yeah, well, Syracuse, I think McCoy is a very good quarterback
Yes,
for Syracuse.
I think Syracuse is a legitimate football team.
They are, but
And
do they win the SEC?
They're
ACC? No,
they're a good team, but not a great team.
no, they're not great.
Let's see what else happened around the country.
Okay, there's some interesting game. Chapel Hill looks like they're about ready to. They're looking towards November 4th. Would you agree?
They're looking towards the season ending.
No, they're looking toward basketball.
Oh,
that's yes. Before that happens after basketball season starts. They're ready for the Carolina basketball team to start playing now.
They're in the same boat most Kentucky fans are.
Ready for basketball season. It's the basketball season. It's getting there, and we'll talk about that here in a few minutes. Pitt beat Carolina 34-24. Pitt's undefeated. They're 5-0. So
Pitt's undefeated.
Do we take them seriously? Not yet.
Let me see who they played.
Well, it ain't a lot of great teams. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they really. I mean, they won the backyard brawl. Oh yeah, they beat Kent State.
Oh gosh, everybody beat.
They beat Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. Penn State at home beat UCLA, so that takes them up a notch, and they're not now. They're a top 5 team again.
And our service academies are still undefeated.
Okay. Well, that's my new thing. Every week we're going to look at the service academies and see what they got next. Make sure we dive into the Army and Navy because I want that game in the title. We said that last week or whatever week that was. I want Army and Navy to play for the title undefeated and play again the next week.
Yes.
That's the best thing to happen now for me. Wake Forest goes into Raleigh and knocks off NC State. That's a shocker.
I got that wrong.
I thought Wake Forest is dead.
Let's see. Oh, to answer your question, Navy beat Air Force 34-7. Army beat Tulsa 49-7.
I seen Navy play, and they actually throwing the football. A service academy throwing the football. Who would have thunk it?
Not this guy. No, not this.
Ole Miss went down to
South Carolina,
Cock Country, and took down South Carolina. And once again, I didn't see that coming. Not the blowout. I thought Ole Miss would win, but South Carolina is a Jacqueline Hyde team. One week they play pretty good, the next week they play like garbage.
Then this week they chose the hot garbage route.
Yeah, but Ole Miss impressed me. I'll give them credit. They didn't fold. I thought they might fold and have a tough time.
I mean, they're such an inconsistent bunch.
Nebraska at home over at Rutgers. I thought that was a close game all the way to the end. Rutgers is not undefeated no more, but I think Nebraska is a sleeper team.
That was a Big Ten
slugfest.
Yeah, because you had one touchdown in the second. Nothing in the third. I mean,
definitely. I mean, that's the way it used to be. Not a lot of offense, but Nebraska's. What's the quarterback's name?
Raiola.
Yeah, Raiola. Eventually, he's going to be great.
He will.
I think it's going to take. What Rule going to have to do is to add some people around him now.
Absolutely.
Maybe in the transfer.
They've got to build around him in order to win ball games.
They're winning, but it's not going to happen when they play a big team. Then we had another team that's going to be.
Another big upset that I saw. Minnesota beat.
I forgot about that. And then UCLA. Yeah, you're right. That's the one. And also Washington beat Michigan. That's all in the same boat. So.
That got rolled by Minnesota.
Yeah. And Washington, when you go play in Seattle, it's not easy to play up there. And they see
that was a title rematch too.
You're right about that. And no one even thought about saying that.
Nobody
and it didn't even make any sense to say it because they're 2 different teams. But Michigan's probably done. Would you agree?
Oh, Michigan, I'm surprised they're still as high as they are with 2 losses.
Yeah.
I think their saving grace is their 2 losses.
Or Texas and USC.
No, Texas and Washington, they
That's right.
beat
Yeah.
USC.
You're right.
Michigan to me just
All
seems
right. So the
like,
next thing I want to say is the Cowboys of Oklahoma State gone. 38 to 18. Woo, they got whooped by West Virginia.
yeah, they're done in terms of the Big 12. I think Iowa State is the one that's running away with it, and so is Texas Tech.
For now.
So yeah,
Colorado's still there too.
you had, I think you have four. It's a 4-team race for me. You had Texas Tech, BYU, Iowa State,
Utah.
maybe Utah.
Well, I picked them to win it, so let's give them time to come back. If they lose,
Wow, Doug. Okay, I see where we're
I
going with
like it.
this. I mean,
Yes.
is he rough?
No.
No.
So the fact that James Madison lost this week officially makes Boise State probably the number one non-power 5 team.
Yes.
They won this week big time against Utah, 62 to 30.
Any other big games do we need to discuss?
Well, I'm searching here. Iowa
Duke is
State.
no longer undefeated.
No, they're not.
They
Duke
went
is,
down and lost in Atlanta,
which makes the ticket prices better for us next week.
probably.
Texas Tech and Arizona had a good battle in Arizona, but obviously Texas Tech wins. That wasn't a shootout. They only scored 28 to 22.
Yeah.
That's an upset in its own self.
Yep.
Then Arizona State stays up in the Big 12 as well. The
Yep.
Big 12 got a lot of teams on top in the top part of the conference. That's going to play out over the next 8 weeks.
That'll definitely play out. I think there'll be some more, more contests before we really know what's going to happen.
Right.
For Kennesaw State.
All right. Moving on to week 7 of college football.
Do we want to give a player of the week?
Go ahead. That's your thing.
I gotta go with the running back from Boise.
Okay.
He won it again. I mean,
Yeah. You like him, don't you?
He's my front runner for the Heisman.
Your front runner? Okay. I ain't talking about the Heisman. I guess that's because Florida State sucks. Being a little sad. All right. Moving on to week 7. So if the game of the week, game day, is heading to Eugene, Oregon this week, and that's where if we had one of y'all give us about $100,000, I mean, we'd go to Eugene, Oregon Saturday night and watch the game, would we not?
Oh,
that'd be fun.
That would be a fun game to go to.
Yeah, and so Ohio State to me still has not done anything of note. Even though Iowa's a good team, they're not a great team. Obviously, they can't score. They can't play offense. Oregon with Gabriel and Will Howard, that's a quarterback battle. Very interesting. I think they're both seniors. So this is a very important game for both of them as far as NFL goes as well. And I have seen both of them bits and pieces, play both of them bits and pieces. But I'm going to give the nod to the Oregon Ducks Saturday night in Eugene.
To me, this is the first true big test for Ohio State. If this team is a legit playoff team, if this team is a legit national championship team.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, this is our put up or shut up game, as I like to say.
And Oregon is the underdog here.
At home.
Yeah.
Oregon really hasn't played many people either.
They beat Boise State.
They played Boise State close, but they had the first 2 games that were really
They did
iffy.
But they won.
But then they come back and smashed Oregon State and they smashed UCLA.
Right. So they're right now. There's no, I wonder what they got. They're right. So it's, I mean, Ohio State, I think they're both kind of in the same boat, even though Oregon's beating a ranked team. I think they're both, this is a prove it week for both Oregon and Ohio State.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. I think this is a game that
who you got
both
winning?
Teams need. I'm going with the Ducks.
Quack. So we both got the Ducks. Man, that's good.
I think Oregon has proven more.
Yep.
But I think it'll be a close game, too.
All right. Okay. Then we move to the Red River rivalry, Texas and Oklahoma. It's kind of not on top of the list on most people's boards because Oklahoma does not seem to have the same juice that it normally does. But didn't Oklahoma win last year?
Yes.
So in that case, it's automatic. Texas is going to win. Picking Texas to win this week. This is another team that needs to show something. They beat Michigan. but it's not like the Michigan of last year, right?
Yes.
So we're saying this is their coming out party Saturday afternoon. It's not at 12 o'clock this year. It's at 3:30 because ESPN's got it. And I'm picking Texas to win that game, not handily, but revenge is on their mind. So that makes it. They're not going to lose focus this week. They're going to win this game 35-25 Texas.
Yeah, I mean, yes, this is a down year for Oklahoma, but I think, like I said earlier with the Florida Tennessee game,
Yeah,
this is a game you throw out the rule books.
I agree.
Anything can happen. It's a rivalry
Anything
game.
can
It's a
happen.
neutral site game in Dallas. I think Texas is just a better team.
I don't like the spread.
I don't like the spread either. I think it's going to be closer.
The experts think.
Yeah, I'm going to go. Give me 35-30. No, 35-30.
Okay. Then we've got Ole Miss and LSU from Bayou Bengal, Baton Rouge. They got the game at 7:30, so that means that'll give them plenty of time to get drunk and wild and partying. So they'll have a great atmosphere probably down there in Baton Rouge. And then they play Ole Miss. This is Ole Miss's next big game on their schedule. Somebody's looking at me.
I'm
What are
sorry.
we doing?
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. This man does not know the meaning of it's Saturday night in Death Valley.
I said that. I said they might go get drunk. That's what I meant. They're fired up. They're gonna be fired up all day long, just waiting for Ole Miss to come in there and probably ruin the rest of their season. And guess what? As I said last week, Ole Miss played like trash against Kentucky. Come back this week and won. But I am sold on their death because of what the people did to me at Earl's, and now they come back and lose to Kentucky. So I'm going LSU wins Saturday night in Baton Rouge. I think the score is going to be 35-25. No, 35-28 LSU Baton Rouge Tigers, the Bayou Bengals.
I think this game is going to be a fun one.
I agree.
In
The SEC. This is the definition of the SEC right here.
I've got it's Ole Miss by 3 is the spread. I think
Screw Ole Miss.
that crowd in Death Valley on a Saturday night, that is a hard place to win.
I agree.
Give me the Tigers. 28-20.
Okay. Low scoring game.
Yes.
Somewhat for the SEC.
Absolutely.
All right. Then we go to Boulder.
Give me
Guard Brooks will not be there.
not in Colorado, where number 18 Kansas State comes in to play. Yeah, everybody when Colorado lost. When Colorado lost to Nebraska, everybody was like, oh no, the wheels are falling off, the sky is falling. They've actually played better recently.
They played great.
Decent ball lately.
Yeah, in Orlando.
Can they keep it up? They are now playing a ranked team at home.
I will be honest. There's not hard a game plan for Kansas State. Avery Johnson's going to run the football. They're going to try to run the football.
But I think Coach Prime's a decent coach. I mean, I think, you talk about these teams, you could see this game going either way. I think the spread, Kansas State's favored by 4.5. And that's, I think, a fair line. I really think it is. I think it's a fair line.
Definitely a fair line.
I could see this game going legitimately either way. I legitimately could see this team going either way.
Me too. Go ahead.
But I think Kansas State squeaks it out.
Okay.
33-30.
I tend to think this game is going to be shortened because I think Kansas State's going to run the football. Avery's going to run it, and their running backs are going to try to slow the tempo down, keep Kushner off the field. And I have to agree with you again. I can't find any, not so fast, my friends, right now. I'm thinking Kansas State's going to slow the tempo down. I don't think the defense of Colorado is that great to be able to handle it. And I'm going to say the final score is 28-27 on a last-second field goal by the Wildcat or the Dropkick game of the week. Kansas State 1 point in Boulder.
Really? Well, okay.
And our final big game of the week is Utah and Arizona. We couldn't find another. It was tough pickings after these first 4 games. We got Arizona State and Utah. Utah is trying to bounce back, and we're going to have a qualifier in this game. We're not sure if Rising's going to play or not, and I think that matters. The
Oh,
whole the whole game rises and falls, no pun intended, on if Rising plays on Saturday night. You okay? You liked that, didn't you?
Just went there, didn't you? Oh, no.
That's pretty good.
That's
You
okay.
have to admit that's pretty good.
I will give you that. I'll allow your bad pun.
That wasn't a bad pun. That was a good one.
You're lucky I didn't put you in the corner.
Now I'm gonna go over here.
Friday night. That's why I didn't try to find it.
I think you just
So
if Rising play, I didn't think I said who won. Right, if Rising plays, Utah wins. If Arizona State plays, if Rising don't play, Arizona State wins.
he is questionable.
Yeah. That's why we have to do both.
It's only Monday.
It's a manic Monday too.
It is a very manic Monday. I mean, I am exhausted, but we
You
still
look
here.
exhausted.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. Utah is a 6.5 point favorite. I am assuming that is if Rising plays. We don't know until Rising if we know if he's playing or not. But
so, got the qualifier. Go ahead.
But in the qualifier, if he doesn't play, I have Arizona State pulling the upset as well.
Me too.
But even if he plays, I mean the Sun Devils.
Supposed to do well. Okay, so you got them both times. Okay, all right.
Not so fast, my friend.
Well, I had both winning.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, Utah wins if he plays, and then Arizona State wins. I guess you understand what you're saying. You got it right. You got a good point there. Deal double jizzle. And some other games on Saturday. Can Alabama rebound at home? That fan base is so pissed. They've probably never been this pissed in their life. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Not since their brother filed for divorce.
Oh, he's talking about that now.
So went there. Thank you.
This is where you see how good a coach they have. It's one thing to coach in West Washington. It's a one thing to coach at Sioux City, or wherever he came from. It's another thing to coach in Tuscaloosa, Alabama after a loss. And I tend to think he's not going to be able to get it back together, but I also think Alabama's going to win. I think they're going to win by 14 at home Saturday afternoon.
I agree. I think they're not going to cover the spread, but I think they will win. I think it's just also because South Carolina is just such a Jekyll Hyde team. You don't know which Gamecock team's going to show up. Yeah. You don't know what Gamecock team is going to show up. You see the one that beat Kentucky, or you see the one that played against Ole Miss.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Right. I don't think their defense is good.
I think that game beating Tuscaloosa helps South Carolina.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I think Alabama can rally together and win.
And we do have a rivalry game in the works. Purdue, Illinois.
Well, that ain't gonna be no game.
That ain't gonna be a game. I think the old Cannon's going back to Champaign.
Cannon.
Yeah, that game's for the Purdue Cannon.
Woo! God, I'm so glad you told me that. I learn something new every day. I'll remember this probably till tomorrow and probably forget about it.
And then you'll be like, "What's that?"
Clemson travels to Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I just wanted to say this: Clemson looking pretty good, so we're gonna give Clemson a blowout win in Winston-Salem.
I think so too. I think Clemson's they're on the rebound. I think they had a rough opening day game against. I think it's not fair to play Georgia right off the bat. But no, I think they'll take care of business as well. They're on the up and up. They're looking good. I think Clemson is going to win, and I think they will cover the 20-point spread.
There really ain't too many. The ACC is not on top of the docket this week in big game. That's probably the biggest, most important game in the Big Ten. I mean, ACC this week.
Does USC pull the upset of Penn State in
Los
Angeles?
That's a pretty big game.
You're like, how did you forget about that one?
Because I'm Blake. Yeah. That's why everybody loves me.
Yes.
No. Penn State's going to go on the road across the country. I think their coach is very good. He does not let them. Uh, he's not like some other coaches in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, letting their team, lose focus after a big win or whatever kind of win they have. I'm saying Penn State wins by 3 points on the road.
Now,
Stay undefeated.
how does Vanderbilt respond? Do they have a hangover when they go to Lexington?
Is that a rivalry? When's the last time that one team, the Tennessee State, was the other way, where Vanderbilt had a big win and Tennessee lost? Probably been a while. I just want to go.
I just don't remember.
I just want to bring that up real
It
quick.
was like, yo, you were just saying that to get under my skin.
Well, a little bit.
You were trying to rile me up.
Don't.
We don't want me riled up.
Don't get riled up, dog.
So let's go to our top 5 teams of the week.
Go ahead.
Okay. My top 5 teams, I gotta go number 1, Texas. They've been playing good. They're coming up a bye week, going into a rivalry game. I know I don't usually give, the benefit of the doubt to bye week teams, but Texas is a complete team when they play in their rivalry game with Oklahoma. Number 2, I'm going Georgia. I think the Dogs have figured it out. They'll take care of business. I think they host Mississippi State. That should be a good, decent one for them. They'll take care of business there. So give me the Dogs at number 2. Number 3, give me the Buckeyes. Again, I'm going to put a pending on that because what happens this week?
Ooh.
This is where they'll either stay in the top 5 or drop out entirely. But I think they're the 3rd best team in the nation right now. Their defense is good. Howard's been playing good. I think they're a good team.
Yeah,
Number 4, Oregon, the Ducks. Again, they've had a slow start, really haven't played anybody. Thank you, Mr. Duck Commander.
Aflac. Random stuff over here.
Thank you, yes.
Getting carried away.
But again, I think they're in the same position as Ohio State. They really haven't played anybody, but they can take care of business if they need to.
Look forward to it.
And number 5, and you ain't gonna like this. Yeah. Give me Miami.
You gotta give respect where respect is due. They're undefeated. That's all. That's all that matters.
They've played decent football in the last couple of weeks, but they've stumbled a little bit. But they'll be the best team in America for me.
Well, it's saying a lot after all these upsets. They almost got beat too.
The upsets make it even harder.
Yeah, that's right.
You think one team's good 1 week and then the next week they lose.
Which is the beauty of college football, especially in conference time.
Absolutely.
My top 5 teams is Texas still at number 1. Like the same reasons he said, they're the most complete team in college football as of right now today. That could all change Saturday after they lose to Oklahoma, but I don't think they will. Then we have a difference of opinion on the rest of these. I got Oregon at number 2 just because I couldn't find nobody better to put there. We had our mindset that there's going to be certain teams that's going to be there all year long, but now they're not.
But we don't know, and we don't know where to put teams because they're so evenly matched.
Yeah. Well, mine is. I mean, I can't really still put Alabama top 5 or Tennessee because they both lost to not so great down level teams. Both have the same record. I think both of them are 3-2. Y'all lost to, right?
Yeah.
Arkansas and Vanderbilt.
I'm not sure about Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Well, they won 2 games at least. We know this. Yeah. And then I have Penn State at number 3. They're undefeated. They've had some pretty good wins so far. Not a high level win, but not a big time win. Those games are coming up down the scale. I guarantee they got Ohio State at least. And then at number 4, the Dogs still in the top 5. I try to find the undefeated teams and put them ahead and keep them in front because I feel like that's how it should be now that we have 12 teams in the playoffs. But I'm not going to say that. So I got Georgia at number 4. Then he's got Miami. No one will ever have this at another number 5 team this week. Iowa State Cyclones. Just got to give them some respect. They're still undefeated. They seem to play pretty good this year. And I got Iowa State at number 5 because I keep finding nobody else. I could put Miami there, but what I always say is screw Miami.
So, yes, Ohio State does play Penn State in Happy Valley.
November first week in November. Oof.
Yeah,
That is where the rubber's going to meet the road for them.
but they don't have to play Michigan or Michigan State.
If they beat Washington, they got Washington on the schedule. They got to go to Camp Randall and they got to go to California one time. So it's still got a lot on the schedule. They could always fumble. So we'll see. It's gonna be.
And they got to go to Madison.
Which is that's what I said. Why I said Camp Randall.
Oh, you did?
Woo! He's on his coffee. He's had 3 cups of coffee today. Calm down, Leo.
I've only had 2.
Well,
No, 3.
we'll say 3 for the show.
I've had 3 now that I think about it.
All right. What a week in college football, but there's something else creeping in to our, sporting lives, and it is that light blue Cadillac. You ever hear it outside? Honk, not honk. The beeping on the horn. Dun 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 dun. Dun.
Oh,
The
that.
North Carolina Tar Heel basketball season is nearing the opening day, November 4th, against Elon, Illinois.
I'm not sure who North Carolina. I don't know.
Elon. They open with Elon. They have not redone it on our gadget yet, but I'm looking forward to Carolina playing some basketball this year. And it's even more now because Florida State sucks. So I ain't got nothing else to think about really except for Carolina basketball. But anyways, my opinion, and the goal is every year to win the regular season and ACC regular season championship. And I'm predicting that they got some tough games in the non-conference slate. They play Kansas on the road, which I'm very much looking forward to. And I think that's going to be a Kansas win just because it's early in the season. Kansas has played together. I think that team's played together. Our team's adding some good freshmen, Ian Jackson, Drake Powell, and Cade Tyson is going to be, to me, Cade Tyson, write this down, is going to be the difference maker in Carolina basketball this year. You got the normal guys. You got Ian Jackson. Well, he's not normal, but he's a great freshman. You got R.J. Davis. You got all the great players of Carolina, but Cade Tyson is going to make a difference. He's going to spread the floor and he's going to drive to the rim.
Excellent.
So we got Carolina pretty much dominating in November. I'm not sure what they're going to do in the. They're going to Maui. I don't know if they win that or not. That has no bearing on the season as a whole because it's so early in the season.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice to win a regular season tournament. But would it matter in the long run? No. Then in December, we start off the season with a little revenge in the month, with a little revenge on our minds as the Crimson Tide come to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, as they beat us last year in the Sweet 16 because somebody shot a. Yeah.
That'll be.
You didn't know that, did you? That was your first time you knew that, did you?
What?
That Alabama's coming to Chapel Hill in the Big Tent. It's the challenge. You know that, did you? Anyways.
Dude, does it look like I even care enough to know? There's somebody talking to somebody who's a Tennessee person and a Duke basketball fan. Why would I care about UNC Alabama?
I'm just.
Touche.
Sorry.
Touche.
I apologize. I didn't mean to ask you this. But that's going to be a fun night.
But no, to answer your question, no, I did not know.
Right. That's going to be a fun night in Chapel Hill. I mean, that could go either way. Then they have Florida in the Jumpman Invitational, and then we also play
UCLA.
Yeah, UCLA. Where is that game on here?
They
don't have it on the damn.
I got it pulled up. It's in Madison. It's in MSG.
Yeah, but they don't. Screw ESPN. What are they doing? They don't even have it on the schedule. Am I losing my mind?
What about that?
There you go. So
that's why we're here.
But the main thing is the ACC schedule. We got a little game in Raleigh that I'm really looking forward to get a little revenge from the ACC championship game.
Oh,
I'll stick it to them. The sun don't shine. I mean, sorry, we'll save that for January. And some other games. So no, really, and then of course they always tend, and the ACC always tend to put our big games on the back end of the schedule, which is February. Obviously, they play that team in Durham. You know who that is?
Yeah, I'm aware. And they'll take care of business.
Yeah, they might beat us there because y'all have that. I would. What's his name? I can't think of his name. You know what that sounds like, don't you? Close, don't you? Hunter something else. We're gonna leave it alone. The podcast. You got to try to stay calm. And then we have some other big games. But the main point about it is I think Carolina wins the regular season. Dean Smith cared about the ACC title in the conference championship. Roy didn't. I tend to no. I tend to agree because when Dean coached, they had to win it to make the NCAA tournament.
It was a different era, yes. It
was right.
A different era of basketball.
And let me ask you this. I don't know if you know that. Well, Carolina's won 7 national championships. 24, 57, 82, 93, 05, 09, and 17. Okay?
Yes.
They had to win. Well, in 27, there wasn't nothing. But in 57 and 82, they had to win it.
Yes.
The kid in the NCAA. Well, I think they still had to win it in 82. But take a guess in the last 4 titles, how many ACC championship tournament championships Carolina won and also won the national championship. Right. So it doesn't matter. So to me, this team could go as high as the Final Four, but I'm going to temper my expectations. I've not seen them play. Maybe later in the season we'll revamp this. I'll come back and I'll say better. I think regional finals, because I think the front court, you always want a great point guard, and the Carolina Tar Heels have a couple good ones. I don't know if you heard of R.J. Davis.
Unfortunately.
And Elliot Cadeau, they've been telling me that they've been saying he's got some pretty good, he's learning how to shoot. And then Seth Trimble, you ever heard of him?
Unfortunately.
And then Ian Jackson.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay. The only question is Washington as our center. And will he be able to be good on defense? That's the main thing. He can score. He showed that he could hit shots from the outside. Yeah. He can knock down threes, but his key is defensively. What has he done this summer to better himself on defense? That's where Baycott. You could almost guarantee Baycott's going to get rebounds and play defense. Would you agree? Yeah. So that was his number one thing he would do. But I think Washington is the key to Carolina where they go in the tournament.
Absolutely, I think a regional final wouldn't be an unrealistic expectation for Chapel Hill. But you never know when it comes to March. I mean, there is always mysteries galore. I mean, and the ball has been tipped off yet. Still got a long way to go.
Right. But you kind of see where a team is somewhat early on, especially because we have continuity come back with young people.
He's missing a couple of pieces. Says, it'll definitely be. We got Sigler. We got a bunch of new people. We got Milic. We got Dunbar. Oakbrower. But I mean, we got a couple good pieces. We also lost a couple good pieces.
And we also have a lot of tough non-conference games. We play Louisville. We play Virginia. We play Miami. We play Syracuse. We play Illinois.
Can we not say Louisville's a tough non-conference game? They haven't won anything.
But you never know. Okay. Louisville, you never know.
All right.
I mean,
I'll give you that.
There are easier games we can play than Louisville.
Not in the ACC. They're probably on the bottom. Go ahead.
Fair enough. I'm talking about in terms of at least we're not playing like a group of 5, a mid-major.
I got you. Okay.
There's still a power.
I didn't want anybody to say, well, Louisville was like 3-12, 16 last year in the ACC. I didn't want anybody to come back and say it later.
Yeah, but I mean.
I think that's what the record actually was.
But you got my point.
I get your point.
The point still stands.
Point it out. Go ahead.
We'll definitely have a gauntlet going to the SEC, especially with Texas and Oklahoma. We go to both Austin and Norman during the season.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a dogfight.
Who's your number one rival in college basketball?
I would say Kentucky.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I would say Kentucky. Obviously, Vanderbilt. We have the in-state rivalry with Landy. But if you tell me to circle one game on the calendar, it's when we play Kentucky.
Yeah, I like that.
Maybe Florida.
Well, they haven't been good though. They've been all right, but they haven't been what they were in the 2000s.
So we'll see what happens.
So your ceiling? What do you got your team doing this year? Rick Barnes always makes y'all look better than you are.
Oh
He's a
yeah,
great
man.
coach.
And you know, when we get to March, it's a weird team. We always play weird in March.
Right.
We've actually never made the Final Four in basketball.
I knew that.
We almost got there last year.
Yeah, you did almost.
We ran into Purdue.
Right.
I don't know if it's going to happen this year. I need to see more first before I make a final decision. I think ceiling is definitely Final Four.
Okay.
The floor is at least the tournament.
You're going to make the tournament. There's no question about that.
We'll make the tournament. We'll be a high seed. I think we'll be fine. But I think, somewhere between that Elite Eight and Final Four is where I expect.
It'll be a great year in Rocky Top.
I think it will be.
Yeah. All right. Now moving on. We'll come back to college basketball as we get going over the next few weeks. But we're going to move on to quickly run through the NFL real fast because I'm retired from the NFL and it just doesn't. It's not. I watch the games, but I don't watch the games. Go ahead.
How does one retire from the NFL? Did you even play football growing up?
I did not, but I'm retired from the NFL. Calm down.
Oh, you're retired from being an NFL fan.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I could always come back, wait for the right moment.
I watched a little bit of that Atlanta game on Thursday night. That was a wild.
That was a wild game. Gosh.
Patriots, you looked like complete incompetence.
The New England Patriots got beat again. You want Tom Brady back?
Yes. Bears beat the Panthers. No shock there. Jaguars beat the Colts. That was interesting.
The Jaguars won a game.
Oh my goodness.
They didn't fumble a game this week.
They didn't fumble it.
Just imagine. I actually had put them, edited them into my favorite teams on ESPN, and I pulled it out. Just imagine if I was a Florida State fan this year and a Jaguars fan. I'd be 1-5 and 1-4. I'd be dead.
You'd be clinically depressed, yes. But hey, you beat the Colts.
Thank God I didn't do it.
You won at home. That's a great one.
Are you saying you beat the Colts to me?
You beat the.
You don't mention me as a Jaguar fan. I pulled out. I can pull out. Anyway. It's always good to pull out, William.
Okay, moving on. Houston beat Buffalo. The Bungles bungled that one in the most bungle way possible, losing to the Ravens. Commanders are playing really good. They are currently 4-1.
Daniels is unbelievable.
Jaden Daniels is absolutely.
Hey, what does that tell you about Florida State the last 2 years? That almost tells you how great they were. They were able to beat him twice and shut him down, really.
Yes. Sorry. The Raiders beat the Broncos. Or no, the Broncos beat the Raiders. No surprise there.
Bo Nix is figuring it out.
Big one is the Niners beat the Cardinals beat the Niners.
And the Niners are 1-4, right?
No. Niners are 2-3.
Oh. Well, close. It's almost like
the Giants won a game. Holy cow.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. I was shocked by that. That's a shocker of the week.
The Sox beat the Seahawks. Packers beat the Rams. And the Cowboys beat the Steelers.
Yeah.
And then tonight.
I knew they were fired up.
And tonight we have the Chiefs hosting the Saints. I gotta go Kansas City.
Oh, definitely Kansas City won that game.
Kansas City at
Especially at home. Anything big next week we want to get to? We move on to the final segment of the night.
Nah, no games really stick out. I mean,
Cowboys and Lions, that'd be a fun game after they win their first game. Washington and Baltimore. No, it sticks out. That sticks out to me. I popped off the schedule.
Well, that definitely would pop off the schedule as well.
Rivalry game.
Big rivalry game for the DMV.
I still think I'm going Baltimore. I got it by slim because it's in Baltimore. That's the only reason why.
Not so fast.
Okay. I didn't do that today.
And then we have
we kind of agreed on something.
Game is the Jaguars take their trip to London to play the Bears.
I'm going Bears. Duh, Bears.
Going Jaguars.
Wish I had their voices. I could do their voices. That'd be fun.
The Bears.
You know what I'm talking about, do you?
I think so, yeah.
He said he thinks so.
But no, I think this. We'll get to the NFL later on. What
Yeah, as college football ends or comes to close, we can kind of pull a little bit more into college NFL.
NFL, especially is moving more to the playoff picture.
Yeah.
What are we going to close on?
We'll close with baseball. The baseball playoffs. Let's just run through that real quick.
Let me just hide myself in shade.
Oh, well, we're both in the same boat on that one, my friend.
My World Series is done.
Right.
I had the Orioles.
So we said, what did we say?
I had Orioles Brewers.
Well, they're both out.
That did not go well for me.
No, I had Cleveland Indians and Phillies. The Mets are giving the Phillies a little bit of run for their money. I think this week, the next two games are going to, well, obviously they're going to decide the series, but I think it's going back to Philadelphia. I think both are going to split in New York and go back to Philadelphia.
That'll be fine with me. One of them has to lose.
Tonight we'll decide about the Yankees Royals series. If the Yankees win, that's over. The Royals are still young. They're an upcoming team that could be good for a while.
They're a year or two out. They're about a year or two out from really competing. Currently, as of right now, on the top of the ninth, the Tigers and Guardians are tied at
0.
Tied at 0 with 2 outs in the top of the ninth. Cleveland's up 1-0. I think that series is over if Cleveland hangs on to win this game.
Yes, absolutely.
Tomorrow, the 2 NL series.
Pretty good stuff right there. If you like baseball,
that'll be a fun night of baseball. Padres and the Dodgers are both so unlikable.
There's my buddy PJ Ward. What's going on, PJ?
Woo,
welcome to the podcast.
PJ.
That's a guy. Doug is definitely a scenario on a guest host, but PJ, he's a big time Ravens fan and an Orioles fan. He would be a fun guy to have on here too.
Of course, my Dodgers pitch. Sorry, Doug. It's gonna be a long week ahead.
Just talk on the podcast.
All for this week.
I think we've had a good discussion, man. I love our days together on Monday.
Absolutely.
The number 7 podcast is coming to an end. How you feel about our podcast so far?
We're doing great, but we are also expanding. We are now on YouTube. We are here on Facebook through our own page. We are on Instagram. We are on Threads, and many more to come. So follow us on there.
We're trying, guys. Keep staying with us. Keep riding the. Well, I'm gonna say the hoe train, but that's for wrestling.
I was gonna say the hypo train.
The hypo train.
The hype train.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see Saturday night.
We will see. But that is all we got for today. And we will see you in a week.
Woo!
Go Balls.
Go Noles.